Hello! Welcome to part 2 of my MAC neutral lipstick collection. There's a lot of them. Those aren't all neutrals, but these are, and these are. And I uploaded part 1 if you want to check that out. It will give you a good idea of some neutral lips you might want to try out for that sort of retro 90s look, or if you just like neutrals. Just a little warning, I don't buy a lot of super light neutrals because they don't look good on me, so I don't have any of like the matte colors in like Myth or I can't really think of any more, but the ones that are really super light. They look great on lots of people. I'm just not one of them. So these are more going to give you that like 90s lip. Some of them are sort of brown tone, some of them are plum. We got natural lighting over here. So the sunlight definitely makes them look a little bit different than they do in artificial light, but I figured sunlight was the best way to go to give you guys a good impression of what they look like true to color. So just keep in mind they look a little bit different in natural light. I am going to focus this camera, sorry. And there's My Little Pony. There it is. All right. So we left off part 1 with Offshoot and One of a Kind, which were both limited edition, and it was kind of a jerk move to swatch those at the end and not really have anything to compare them to. So I swatched them here just in case you guys are finding some of these colors look similar. So Offshoot was Cream Sheen, One of a Kind was a Luster. They were both limited edition. Yeah, so there's those for comparison's sake. And my first swatch is one of my favorite lipsticks, and it is Creme in Your Coffee. Creme in Your Coffee is a cream sheen. It's sort of a brownie nude, sort of similar to Twig. I swatched Twig underneath just so you could see they're sort of similar. Twig's maybe a little bit more pinky, Creme in Your Coffee a little bit more brown. I'm just going to see if I can steady my hand out there. Sorry. It's pathetic that I don't have anything to rest my camera on. So there we go. Creme in Your Coffee. There it is. Next in line is Craving. Craving is more of a pinky nude. Definitely looks really pink in the sunlight here. I would call it more of like a plummy nude. And Craving, sorry, is, what are you? Oh, Craving is an amplified. So like I said in the last video, amplified finish is very pigmented. It's not quite as creamy as a cream sheen. So good lasting power, good pigmentation, but yeah, just not quite as drying as a matte or satin, kind of in the middle there. So amplified finish, Craving, sort of pinky looking in this light, very flattering. Next in line is Captive, which is actually quite similar to Craving, just a little bit more dark, a little deeper, a little plummier. And we've got Captive as a satin, so just a little bit more of a, I don't know, I find the pigmentation on mattes and satins are really amazing. Like, really pigmented, you really don't have to swipe too much to get your color there. One of my favorite formulations is definitely satin. So Captive, we got Creme in Your Coffee, Craving, and Captive. Next in line is a luster called Plumful. It looks quite pinky here. It's really pretty, very easy to pull off. Right now I'm more into like brownie nudes for sure, like that sort of 90s lip color. And no, it's not really just because of Kylie Jenner, it's just because it became popularized. I dug back in my collection and found a lot of colors like this, so I was happy that I had them. Sometimes it's good to be a lipstick hoarder because trends go in and out, and there you are, you have lots of lipsticks. So anyway, sorry, Plumful is a luster, and I do not normally love lusters. They are not my fave. But this is quite a pigmented luster. Very comfortable to wear. I just find lusters are, they slide around too much for me, so they're not my favorite finish. But Plumful is a really good example of a pigmented luster. So there's Plumful. I hope you can read my really messy writing up there. Plumful. Next in line is Spice It Up. Spice It Up is one of my faves. I feel like Spice It Up isn't talked about very much, and surprisingly it's a luster. I do not like lusters generally, but it's a really pigmented luster. I don't find it like slides around a lot either. It's very like browny, sort of rusty, rosy color. I love it. Spice It Up. I don't think you would have any trouble finding it because I don't find it's one of those colors that's talked about very much, but it's beautiful. It's been part of the permanent line for a long time. All of these so far that I've shown you are permanent except for the limited edition jerks up there that you can't get anymore. But yeah, we got Creme in Your Coffee, Craving, Captive, Plumful, Spice It Up. Spice It Up is so pretty. I definitely recommend checking that guy out. Next in line is a frost finish, and a lot of people are scared of frost finish because they figure it looks really dated. They're thinking like super frosty porno lips, I guess. No offense to, you know, porno lips, but yeah, like frosts don't have to look dated. This is Sequin. a CQ above it there. And it's kind of like a rosy nude too, a little bit more red leaning, I guess, but it's very pretty. It's a frost, but I wouldn't say it's super obvious from the swatch that it's even a frost at all. Frost can be easier to wear than a creamy color just because it's a little bit more forgiving if you make a little bit of a mistake going outside the lines, just because it has like that reflect to it. Anyway, this one's a really, really subtle frost, so don't be afraid of it. Sequin's not talked about very much either, but it's just lovely, so check it out. Next in line is Hot Tahiti. I feel like this was popular a while ago. It's sort of like a sheer reddy kind of color, but not red. So I put it in the neutrals because I still consider it sort of a neutral. Hot Tahiti is a glaze. I think it's one of the only glazes that I own, and they're similar to Luster's, not as much color payoff, but because it's a bit of a deeper color, I actually find the color payoff on this glaze not bad at all. So that is Hot Tahiti, gorgeous. Next in line is Charismatic. Charismatic is one of my faves right now, another one that's not really talked about very much, and believe it or not, it's another luster, and I don't even like lusters that much. But it's sort of like an orangey, rusty nude lip. Because it's sheer, it's pretty easy to wear, but it's another one that's quite pigmented for a luster, so I'm very pleased with this one. Like I said, lusters, it'll never be my favorite because it moves around more than a matte or a satin, but this one's just a great color. I would love to see it in like a different formulation too, but Charismatic, kind of an orangey base to it, would be great for people who are warm toned or have yellow undertones and stuff, so Charismatic luster. Next in line is a super, like, I feel like this one's pretty popular because it's a pretty easy neutral to wear. It's called Modesty, and Modesty is a cream sheen, and it's sort of just a pinky nude, real pretty. Sorry, my light went kind of weird there. I'll just readjust. Sorry about all the readjusting, guys. I'm very, very, very new at this. I think it's just the lighting changed a little outside. So Modesty, yeah, pinky nude, has a little brown in there, just lovely, love it. Next in line, I almost think this shouldn't be a neutral. It almost looks too coral, but it's called Fanfare. And if you're kind of afraid to wear a coral that's really bright and out there, Fanfare might be a good place to start for you because it's definitely coral, but I feel like it has enough neutral in it that I included it in here. I'm not 100% sure if you guys would consider that neutral, but Fanfare is a cream sheen, very comfortable to wear, and sorry camera, just lovely. Kind of love it. I don't wear it quite as much. It's definitely not as brownish as some of these other lipsticks are, but Fanfare, kind of coral. Next in line is, I feel like this was popular a while ago too, and I don't know if people forget about it, but it's a Midimauve. And Midimauve is a luster, and it does not look like one. The pigmentation there just doesn't look like a luster. I almost had to like check myself again and say, is this really a luster? Because it looks almost like it's a frost, or nope, it is a luster. Sort of like Modesty, but maybe a little bit more pink or purple in it or something. It's also like a very easy one to wear, kind of just a nice neutral. So that is Midimauve. Next in line is one of my absolute faves, and I just happened upon it by accident when I was kind of going through like Kat Von D Lolita phase of like loving that sort of brown neutral, blah, 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 and I saw a swatch of it and I was like, Mocha, I wonder if it would look good on me. A lot of times ladies with darker skin really like it, and I was like, oh, maybe it won't look good on pale skin. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It is part of the permanent line. Mocha is a satin, great pigmentation, really nice nude for warm-toned ladies and gentlemen. Just lovely. Mocha, one of my faves. Next in line is Persistence. Persistence is one of the lipsticks that came out in the Retro Matte, the most recent MAC most recent MAC Retro Matte collection. I think it was one of their, I can't remember how many collections there's been of the Retro Mattes, but it's the most recent one. It is limited edition, but it's still available online. I did just check the MAC Canada website, and it is still available, and so is Whirl. So if you want to check that out, I actually prefer Mocha. I think Mocha's a little bit like less brown. I find it a little bit more wearable on me, but Persistence is another one of those great neutrals. So Mocha, Persistence, and Persistence is Retro Matte. It just says matte on the package, but that's the collection it's from. Next in line is a permanent. It's called Taupe. As you can see, sort of similar to Mocha and Persistence. More similar to Mocha, I would say. And it's part of the permanent line. Taupe is a matte, and just beautiful. It's really nice. It's like sort of orangey, browny, neutral, which doesn't sound great, but on a lot of skin tones, it's a really flattering color. It's really easy to wear. It might look a little scary in the tube or like something that wouldn't look good on, but give it a try, especially if you're warm toned. Yeah, I think these are great for warm toned ladies and gents. Next in line is Whirl. Whirl is from the same collection as Persistence. It's also still available online, even though it's listed as limited edition. They still have stock of it, and there is a lip liner called Whirl that apparently is the one Kylie Jenner likes to use for her lippy lips, and so they made a lipstick of it. Whirl is actually not my favorite. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to. I found it a little bit too brown for me, I think, but if you don't get a chance to get out and get Whirl before it's gone, Mocha and Taupe are both really nice, and in my opinion, I like them better. So, in my opinion, I like them better. Well, obviously, it's my opinion, but in my opinion, they're just as nice. But Whirl is, yeah, it's a great color too. So, if you want to check it out, do it. Next in line is Pander Me. Pander Me came out in the last MAC Retro Matte collection, and it is one of the ones that I almost wish I had backed up. It's really similar to Mocha and Taupe, but I feel like maybe a tiny bit more wearable, a tiny bit more pink in it or something. Anyway, it's gorgeous. It's sold out, so you can't get that one, but Pander Me, as you can see, looks really similar to Taupe and especially Mocha. I feel like those are pretty close, so do not despair. Okay. Bottom line, I got kind of lazy and I was like, I better just swatch these down here because I don't know if I'll have room anywhere else. First in line there is Retro. It is gorgeous. If you like kind of a darker neutral